This is my dead turbo. This is my good turbo. Now by dead I mean really, really dead. And the good turbo is looking a lot better than it did. Cleaned it up and put all these little bits and pieces on them. So that little barb nozzle there from my wastegate. I put on the oil return flange. I've got new washers now in both the water feed and return, just in case. Unfortunately, the wastegate, this is the factory R32 wastegate, does not work with the Garrett turbo. So there are no attachment points for the wastegate. So I need to make my little bracket come off there and it'll join onto the back to here. So my first bracket failed, and I made a second bracket that wasn't high enough, so it's hideous, it's ugly. But if it works, it works. So, and it did work. We did try it. This is our gangster abomination of a bracket.
I rotted at 20. No, we don't need to knock on. Who's there? Rodney. We don't need to knock on nothing, mate. I never had to knock rock on a 20 because I know someone who has.
This guy's having way too much fun.
Just jealous because I don't have a long gate. Alright, enough. You're wasting my gate.
So beforehand I could kind of get a piece of paper in between there, so I think they are missing these things, the half moons, but that's rectified, that's fine now. I've done all the fittings again because I had to pull them all off. The 4 bolts up here, so they fit these 4, and then down the bottom here they have studs, so you see there. So the reason they have studs is because when this turbo is upright, all the pressure from the exhaust is resting on those studs and it's not going to cause them to come loose. I don't want to do that because it is a pain in the butt getting a dump on, so I have rethreaded these 2 here into the same as the other 4. I wanted to try putting a dump on, so I had a look around the shop to see if we had any just random stock dumps lying about so I could see, and Benjamin ended up finding a TOG split manifold with a screamer. So you can see here we've got the split dump, so you've got your main dump and then you've got your screamer. You've got 2 holes here. This is what the split piece in the dump look like. I'll get it out of the way so you can see it. And it has the 2 bolts that go in it here and here. This is a flush flange, whereas the Garrett with the HKS rear housing is flush as well. So there's no way that that's going to sit in there and separate the exhaust and the gate. However, the stock Nissan turbo is recessed. But yeah, so this one here would go in just there. I don't think it would block it off completely, so I still think this is made for a TOG turbo, but it's just interesting to see the differences between the 2 different turbos and the different technology, different dumps, and different setups. It really emphasizes that when you change your turbo setup, you've really got to look into what you're doing. Okay, I'm going to finish cleaning this up, and then we are going to silicon that dump onto that turbo using this red stuff. I wanted to use the copper sealant, however it's too late at night and we don't have any, and the copper sealant and the red RTV apparently have the same temp rating, but I'm not too sure how the red RTV will go over the copper in creating a high temp gasket for a drift car. I've got a spare gasket here. I'm going to try an experiment with building a little bridge between the gate and the dump and see if that will work. The dump that we're going to use has these 2 little holes that we have to put the spot welds in, so they could be used pretty much as dowel pins to hold in that gasket and then cover it in that red stuff. And it might work, it might not. Nate has just finished welding the holes in the dump for me while I've been doing little gasket mods. So I now have half a gasket.
A hole. tuber schmoo.
Yeah, a bulk tuber schmoo. Which is now the exact same thickness as the missing gasket. And what I'm going to do is bridge the gasket like that. And you can see on the dump here, it's got the two little holes still. They're welded from the outside in, that way the schmoo will go on and pretty much act like nails and kind of give this something to locate itself onto and to hold onto and retain the gasket. Hopefully not blow it out too easily. Alright, well I did it. I made the bridge gasket. Looks really nice. And I rewrapped this so it doesn't melt, because it has melted in the past. We had stud problems.
I'm a vice.
You are a human vice. See how much you can zoom in by before it loses.
Macros itself.
Yeah, no, it macroed. Dump has now been rethreaded and we've just put studs on the bottom.
Obviously gets along
That way you don't have to worry about bolts and stuff. It's almost midnight. It's a Friday. Hello, Zed. Hello, other Zed. 32! Sashi Booty Dana! Hello, cars. Alright. Little mirror. Time for you to get back out there. I got a bit of cleaning up to do. Smells like race car. Hello everybody. Okay. Time to put on the new edition. Fingers crossed that it'll work out really well. So continuing on with the R32 turbo swap saga, there's some bits and pieces that I didn't get to record at the time. We ran into pretty much every possible problem you could have with the 32 getting the turbo on. So the dump didn't line up too well, I had to twist the dump. The gasket was the wrong gasket. The flange on the inside of the exhaust to the dump had a lip on it, so I didn't have the grinder at the time to get it off. Some of the fittings didn't work with the turbo. And then when I finally did sort out all the fitting drama, we had issues with the intercooler piping lining up with the turbo and the new snout position and that kind of thing. A whole bunch of little things. It's to be expected. It sucked. That's what happened. I blew the intercooler piping and I blew the fuse, and now I have a dead battery. It's a pretty, it's a very bouncy, loud and obnoxious car. And we are off to the shop. It is mid-afternoon and it's time to bring in the 32 into the shop. We had a bunch of customers today, so I just have to work around the customers and work around the cars coming in and out. It's got the usual Skyline bubble in the dash just here, and some little cracks up the top here. The center console has been ripped out a million times from stereos and owners and stuff, so just duct taped all these little bits that were cracked and pretty much in pieces, so try to make it a one piece, and then this is just a piece of plastic with some gauges in it. Door cards have seen better days, seats have seen better days, carpets have seen better days, and the rear has no seats at all, so I've just got my skidders in here. And I need to charge up 2 batteries, I forgot. That's the S14 battery, so I've got to charge that as well. Yeah, it's got some ridiculous camber on it. We decided when we were building this car, for some reason I think we got 30 or 40 mil LCAs put in it instead of just the extended 20 mil LCAs. I got the car, pretty much it was this far from being completely completely salvaged. All the panels were mismatched or punched in or damaged in some way. The RB20 in it was old, haggard, all the cooling was completely corroded, so it was struggling to stay cool. It still ran though, but the turbo in it again was also screwed. It was just puffing white smoke all the time, so the turbo seals were gone. Gave it a little bit of paint, put some new panels on it, and gave the motor a good service. And then took it out to 3 rounds of DCA and Matsuri and a whole bunch of drift events, and it survived somehow. Now we've got the new turbo on it, which I'm testing now. And hopefully it's going to be all good and I can take it back out to Archie. I won't have any coolant problems, I won't have any boost problems. The only thing I've got to fix now is something to do with my wiring is frying my main fuse at the moment. I don't know what it is, but I've got to look into that now, so yeah. What about in the UK? Where are you guys from? Do you guys have all these cars? So are there any cars in this video that you guys don't get over there? Let us know, drop it in the comments. It'd be cool to know. We've got a customer that's just coming in now to pick up his S14. It was in for some oil leaks and a whole bunch of other little things. Quite a nice car actually. I think it's like a bluey purple, like an indigo purple blue. How you doing?
Oh, sleepy?
You're sleepy?
I need a nap. Not a nap. I'm getting old.
You need some hairspray too.
How's my hair doing the puffy uppy thing?
It was doing like a anime style.
There we go.
You'd be surprised, this guy's not as old as what you're assuming he is.
I am, I'm 6 million years old.
Yeah, have a guess, put it in the comments. How old do you think Ben K is? And I'll let you know on the next vlog. You wouldn't believe that guy used to be an MMA fighter. Nope.
What do you mean you wouldn't believe? Hey,
Then you wouldn't believe.
I'm still
sitting there,
fit,
just
right.
playing with the beer gut.
That was, I was pushing it up. You want to see how much I love being a mechanic? You check that security camera footage this morning of me opening up the shop. That's how much.
What, you're dancing?
I was dancing up a storm, mate.
Alright, example, give me a demo.
Good time.
So what I need to do is pull off this dump, pull off that 3-bolt flange there. I need to grind down the flange lip on that and pull this part of it off. Oh god, don't tell me I have to pull the exhaust off. Oh, it shouldn't be too bad actually. I've only got what, 4 bolts on the exhaust, a hanger at the back, and some hangers at the tail. Yeah, there's only 3 hangers, man. That'll be fine. Alright, exhaust off then. So this red bar here is called a high-cast delete bar. Most of these cars come out with a rear steering feature called high-cast. It is horrible. What it does is it turns your wheels when you're above 80 kilometers. So if you're going around a corner, imagine like a bus where it turns the front and the rear wheels. It was originally meant as a safety feature to stop oversteer or to at least minimize oversteer and make cars handle better. However, it has now become more of a pain in the butt and quite dangerous if you are getting into drifting and you've only just bought a car and you haven't eliminated your high gas. You can drift with high gas, but it's not recommended, and it just makes the car feel really sloppy and it can be unpredictable at times. What else do I have on the back here? I don't think I have any aftermarket arms. I've got, what have I got? I've got G4 Racing coilovers, which are the bloody bumpiest things I've ever been in a double wishbone car ever. I've got camber arms. I've locked my diff, so I've got shims in the diff. What else? Rack has been moved forward. What I'm talking about here is this big gold thing you see up here. This is a cross member. When they say that you've had a rack move forward, you see these little tab bits here. Sorry, I'm pointing to them. So right there, there's a weld mark. And then there's another weld mark on this part here. So what they do when they move a rack forward, this is the power steering rack here. You bring the power steering rack perfectly in line, so you can see. You bring it forward more and it's better for steering, better for drift. On my LCA, so these are what I was talking about earlier. This is an LCA. Now you can see again there's welding marks just here. They have been extended. Do you remember it was 30 mil or 40 mil extended? 10 mil. You are blurry. Yeah, they were 30 mil, 40 mil.
40.
Why did you make them 40?
You have to ask old Mr. Heartbreak.
Either way, I've got obnoxiously long LCAs to make the car uber cambered. And then I've got cut and shut knuckles, which are pretty much drop knuckles. I don't know if you'll be able to see the weld marks on these. I usually, no, you still can. So you can see right there, they've been welded and moved, which gives the car a lot more lock and makes it feel very, very twitchy, very responsive. If you're doing a drift setup, especially with R chassis don't tend to have the best lock. What else have I got? I've got teen super straight coilovers in the front, and I've got front camber arms. So this thing here is what, if you've ever heard the term double wishbone, this gigantic big black thing here is a wishbone suspension system. So it runs up and over the wheel and then joins up the top, unlike most where they just run off the coilover and go straight up to the top. So it's a bit of a pain because no matter what you do, you can't take all the movement out of a double wishbone suspension. You can't have it completely like hard, solid, static. There'll always be a tiny little bit of movement unless you go bags or something. And then I've got these nice, pretty gold bits up the top here, which are Black Arts Factory camber arms. It doesn't take much to kind of get a lot out of these cars. I've done basic mods in this. I've just done essentials really. So steering, lock mods, exhaust, diff, got rid of the high cast, coilovers, head drain kit for oil. I did replace my oil pump when I did this motor, and now replacing turbo. And yeah, that's kind of really it with an RB20. I don't like melting my bars at all, and if I'm doing Archie and the pipe is out this far, it's going to wall tap and I'm going to do more damage. So I've marked it out to cut it and just make it a little neater. My main problem and the reason I pulled my exhaust off today is this. So all that black stuff on the top right is all exhaust leaking out, whereas the left was sealed pretty well. But you can see how it's got that kind of inner flange bit on there. Now have a look at this one. This is my dump. This is the inner lip I was talking about, and what is happening is that is not allowing the dump and the exhaust to seal correctly. But for now I need to get out the grinder and I need to take off this lip completely, that way it doesn't interfere with me trying to mate up the flange surfaces and I don't have an exhaust leak anymore, which will be great. So that's now sealed again, which is great. I've also cut this off. Look at that, how good is that? I'm proud of myself. Now I won't take out my exhaust on a wall. It looks a little better now. While it's charging up the battery, I'm going to sort out that intercooled pipe. That is the last little bit, apart from sorting out the reason that the main fuses keep blowing. I have no idea where that's coming from. That's a new one, it's just happened recently. So the intercooled piping is off. So what I've done is put a bead onto it, so you can see on the top part there. So that should hold the pipe on and stop it from blowing off. No struggling with a 40-litre jerry and spilling it everywhere with a funnel made out of a Coke bottle.
Where the f***'s my 10 mil? My 10 mil?
Oh, that was great. Make sure we're out of gear. where did the smoke go? She's gone.
Where did the exhaust go? That was my anti-Loki device.
No.
Ruins.
No. This is my... It looks fine. I even polished it. Look at it. It's all pretty and shiny and it was cut perfectly smooth.
Pretty sure, yeah.
No, it's gonna come off when it goes to JZ anyway, so I don't care. GDR Parkers do not fit at all. But they're cable tied in. As I wall tapped last time, you can see like there. Pretty much the over fender took it like a boss. It got punched in and then it popped back out. This is my Chariot, the 32. I don't have any low beam. I still haven't hooked that up yet. It yeah, like this car is a whole wiring mess. But as long as it had high beams, indicators, tail lights, stop lights, and reverse, it was fine for track. Yeah, I'm liking the sound of this turbo.
Go dead straight. Straight. Nearly 18.
Alright, we are running too much boost, so I am going to turn it down a little. Because there's no point running 18 pound of boost if it only lasts for a week. I'll be 21.
But then it goes! This is way more fucking than my 20. My 20 don't do that.
So, great success. I am covered in God knows what, but it was worth it. It was so worth it. The car sounds amazing. It is going better than it ever has. It's a little different. The torque curve is slightly different and the boost comes on a little later, so it's slightly laggier, which is interesting because the rear housing is actually smaller than the OEM turbo that I pulled off it. I like to drive spiritedly, so it's not a big drama for me to have to fix my cars, but at the same time, prioritizing 8 cars at once is a big thing, especially with the budget that I have. Like, I'm nowhere near loaded. I'm not rich at all. I just work with what I have and I put everything I own and everything I earn into my cars. That's my lifestyle, that's my life, and I love it. So I can't wait to get drifting. I'm hoping to God, I'm just letting it run right now to see how it's going for temps and to see, you know, if the battery just starts dying on me or, you know, it starts melting that main fuse again. That would suck if it did, but yep, this is my little test period. If everything goes well tonight, which it's looking like it will, I'll get it back on the trailer and I'll take it home tonight, and then tomorrow afternoon I'll take it out to Archerfield. There is a pro practice on tomorrow night, so that's like a where they make Archerfield, and it's like a free reign, so it's free for all. It's not stop start, it's not one at a time or two at a time or, you know, tandems or anything. You can do tandems, but it's just full non-stop merry-go-round style, throw 10 cars on at once kind of, and just throw it sideways so you can hope no one crashes and slows everyone down. For the guys that are interested in Skylines and R32s, awesome. If you want to see more of it, let me know in the comments below. The track will probably come as a separate upload just because it's going to be a pretty full-on night and who knows what's going to happen. So anyway, I gotta go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. We reached 488 subscribers as of this week. It's crazy and it's awesome, and I just wanted to say thank you very much. Well, until next time guys, I have got to run. Have fun, and I'll see you next week.